And we are live. So today in baseball, we had the Mariners, Rangers, and Astros all pick up their 73rd win of the season. Now this is 73 is a number that I've been catching on for almost a month now, because in the Major League Cricket final, the final score was 183 to 184. So that's 367 combined runs. 367 is the 73rd prime number. And I've been trying to figure out what the meaning of 73 is, because 72 I've seen as a big number, and I'll talk about 72 in a second. But 73 I've seen as a big number, but I haven't really figured out what it is. But I'll get to it. This relates to the Mooresville explosion that we had just the other day. Now, something that I want to point out, on Zach's article, he says that it was on August 21st, which was Monday. And he even, or if I scroll down a bit, he even says here is on 8/21, 72 date numerology. However, seems like the articles are saying it happened early Tuesday, and that's when the news came out. So I think it's probably easier to say that it came out on Tuesday, that the explosion happened on Tuesday. And the reason why that's important is because that day, Tuesday, August 22nd, had 73 date numerology. And something about the Major League Cricket season, it happened in two locations. The games were in two locations. Grand Prairie, Texas, and Morrisville, North Carolina. Not to be confused with Mooresville. You have Mooresville and Morrisville, two similarly sounding cities in the same state. So some of the games were in Grand Prairie, the other games were in Morrisville. And Morrisville has 73, has gematria of 73. And what's interesting here is, look, if you just look Morrisville and Mooresville, look how they match. Forget if these, no, those ones don't match, but Morrisville and Mooresville match, and well, they don't. They share 3 out of the 4 ciphers. They share values in 3 out of the 4 ciphers, which is interesting. And 62 is also important. I'll get to that in a second. But a bit of play on words. And again, the guy who died, Farley, I think. Yeah, so the son of the guy who died is listed at 6'2". And that's okay. That's not something that I realized before. If you listened to TFR the other night, I called in and talked about, hey, I think this is related to the MLB season. And look at that. Caleb Farley was drafted on the 119th day of the year. And this is the year of the 119th World Series. Moving on. So the point of this video is to talk about 73. And in the live stream that I did earlier this week, I talked about the San Bruno pipeline explosion of 2010 and the similarities between the Mooresville explosion and that one. And on the day of that San Bruno pipeline explosion, the Giants beat the Padres 7-3. So we're talking about 73. Well, here's a 73 right here. And something I didn't mention in that live stream, that I talked about how 11 was important because if I pull up San Bruno pipeline explosion. Yeah, so there has happened 11 minutes after the hour and had a 1.1 magnitude earthquake. And then on that day, that game later that night, you have Matt Cain getting his 11th win of the season, John Garland getting his 11th loss of the season, and what's interesting about that day is it was... Well, actually, let me... It's not quite... Oh, well, if I don't include... Okay, there we go. So it was 7 weeks and 3 days before Game 4 of the World Series, in which the Giants took a 3-1 series lead. Of course, 31 is the 11th prime, and also if you could say it was a span of 7 weeks. And let me just pull up the 2010 World Series just to show you. So here we go. Game 3 was 7 weeks and 3 days before Game 3, in which the series became 2-1, and 73 is the 21st prime number. And it was just regularly 7 weeks and 3 days before the 31st, where 31 is the 11th prime. And you had all the 11s here. But back to today, you have 3 teams getting their 73rd win of the season in the in the American League West. They're all bunched together, and the Rangers' score was 6-2. Now, I've been talking about 62 for a while because, well, I was just talking about 62 earlier in the live stream. Like everything here, Mooresville 62. Oh, the dad was in his 61st year of life, or sorry, 62nd year of life. Kayla Farley, 6'2". Mooresville 62, where the cricket games were played, and Mooresville also 62. So anyways, I was talking about 73. Now, the World Series this year, as I pointed out here, starts on Friday the 27th. That's 66 days from the explosion. Maybe it was a bombing. But anyway, 66 days, Texas equals 66 until the start of the World Series. Until the end of the World Series, well, we don't know yet if this is going to be the end of the World Series, but this could potentially be the end of the World Series. It would be Game 6. Or it could also, the World Series also could end earlier than that, and maybe it would be the parade. That would make sense. I feel like the World Series is going to end on November 1st, but we'll have to wait and see. If the World Series ends on November 1st, this would probably be the date of the parade. Whoever has the parade. And from the explosion until November 3rd is 73 days. And that's interesting because that has 57 date numerology. World Series equals 57. And from today until... I know I'm missing something because I looked at something before the stream, now I can't remember what it was. Here it was. Okay, that's right. I was just talking about 62. Here it is. This is what I wanted to talk about. From today, where the Rangers got their 73rd win. Let me just show you this. The Rangers got their 73rd win of the season by a score of 6-2 over the Minnesota Twins. And for those of you who don't know, there is a connection between the Rangers and the Twins because they both used to be the Washington Senators. The Twins are the original Washington Senators. The Rangers are the second incarnation of the Washington Senators. And that's funny because I was just talking about 57. That could potentially be either the end date of the World Series or maybe Parade. Nationals equals 57. That was a big thing when they won the World Series a few years ago, and obviously the Nationals are in Washington, where both of these franchises used to be located. But anyways, they win 6-2. Wait, oh, sorry, it's here. My bad. They won 6-2, 62 days before Game 1 of the World Series. And just to show you, yes, Game 1 of the World Series is on October 27th. And we're just talking about 62 the whole time here. 62, 62. But something, the reason why I also wanted to bring up 62 is not because of the Astros, or sorry, not because of the Rangers, but because of the other MLB team in the same state, the Astros. It is their 62nd season. And I do want to say, I know the Astros won tonight, but what was the score? That was 9-2. Not seeing anything standing out there about 92. I guess the thing is with 92, it is 9 weeks and 2 days before Game 3 of the World Series. I'm not sure what the significance of that is. I mean, I was talking about 7 weeks and 3 days before Game 4 of the World Series, and I was talking about San Bruno in 2010, but that doesn't feel quite as significant. Also, the thing is with the Rangers, well, yeah, it is their 63rd season, but it means their first season was 62 years ago. So if you were to say that, like, if they had a birthday, like, say their birthday was opening day of 1961, even though it's their 63rd season, they would be 62 and a half years old. Like, yeah, you should be able to understand what I'm saying. It's like when the Astros won the World Series back in 2017. Let me go back here for a second. So when the Astros won the World Series back in the 2017, it was their 53rd season as the Astros, but it was 52 years after their first season known as the Astros. And that was big that year because, let me go to this one, because that was Hurricane Harvey. Flood equals 52. That's a big number with weather warfare. And speaking of 52, it is the Rangers' 52nd season. If I can... Here. Yeah, it is their 52nd season in Arlington, as I've talked about multiple times on previous streams. See, has anyone said? No one's in the chat right now, but that is what I wanted to talk about. Oh, and I guess there is one more thing, because what's important about the Twins is, actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up another window that you can't see right now. Back in the beginning of the year, I made a video about the Carlos Correa re-signing with the Twins. And I remember I talked about 62, and I'm pulling up my script for that. Okay. I'm going to do here. How do I... Okay, here's what I wanted to tell. This was the script for the Carlos Crave video. I'm just going to show you the script because I don't want to go try and find it in the video. 62 was big because his signing was 293 days before Halloween, which might have been, which could be the end of the World Series. That'd be Game 4. 293 is the 62nd prime, and his deal was a 6-year, $200 million deal. Is that the only time I talk about 62? I guess so. I could have sworn that like his name equaled 62. Well, what's interesting about all right, Carlos. His full name, Carlos. I'll show you in a second. His full name is well, technically it's not his full name, but if he was born in with the American naming custom, where you only have we get the first name, middle name, and last name. His name equals 293, which is the 62nd prime. I'll show you that in a second. But what else do I want to show you? There's something here that I just can't remember. Oh, I do remember now. All right, we're going, switching windows, going back to here. So what's interesting about, I mentioned in the script that I mentioned the Carlos Crave video how his signing was 293 days before Halloween, which is the 62nd prime. This game, where they won 62, was 9 weeks and 3 days before Halloween. And 93 is a big number in the Carlos Correa signing because also we had the 93rd MLB All-Star game this year in Seattle. And Seattle and Rangers both have same amount of wins right now. And his signing was also 93 days before the Twins played the Yankees. And of course, New York equals 93. And this is important because, of course, the Rangers just played the Twins. Yeah, there he is, right there. And what's also significant about that is it's 66 days before, and Texas equals 66. It's very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is that '73 seems to be an important number in all this. 72 and 62 also seem to be important numbers. So it's like 62, 63, 72, 73. It's weird. Just to add on, yeah, Arlington TX 62. I think Arlington, Texas is also 62. I mean, just look at all the 62s there. And what did I mention? What did we say? What was the situation with Caleb Farlow? His dad was in his 62nd year of life. Obama just turned 62. I know this live stream was supposed to be out about 73, but 62 is important as well. I'm going to have to look more into Caleb Farley because He was drafted on the 119th day of the year, and now we're in the year of the 119th World Series. Let's just see if there's... He was born on 11/2. Of course, Jesuits claim to operate in 112 countries. Oh, and look, what about that? His full name is 62. Are you serious? Give me a break. I don't even think Zach mentioned this. Oh, okay, that person in the comments section put it down. Caleb Ray Farley equals 62. Okay. Also, 134. I just talked about 134 last week. Terrorize 134. There's something else that equals 134. I was mentioned in my live stream last week. God damn. Round 1, pick 22. I wonder if he'll play for San Francisco at some point in his career. Also, the thing is, Seattle and San Francisco are both on the 122nd meridian, and Seattle is part. Remember that the Major League Cricket final? It was Seattle versus New York. It's Seattle coming up just short. I can find, yeah, there. Combined for 367 runs, the 73rd prime. And we have all these 73s. Mooresville 73, 3 teams picking up their 73rd win of the season. Does anyone in the National League have 73 wins right now? No. Yeah, man, I mean, it just seems weird that they would connect this random NFL player to the World Series, but no, back to 112. I was just okay. No, there wasn't any 112s there, but oh, I thought I had San Bruno where the explosion was 13 years ago. That equals 112. I thought there was also another 112 with this. Oh yeah, Mooresville, North Carolina, 122. And what, it was the round 1, pick 22 of the draft. Yeah. Round 1, pick 22. Mooresville, North Carolina, 122. I've been talking about how this connected to the Giants winning the World Series back in the day. The city located on the 122nd meridian. Actually, that got me thinking. So how many from the bombing to his birthday was 72? I think Zach probably mentioned that in here that it was. Okay, so so it wasn't so I don't know if Zach will get around to editing this, but maybe I can leave a comment. But it didn't happen on 72 date numerology, but it was 72 days before his birthday, which is the more important thing. So 72 still is important, as we're showing here, but 73 is important as well. We'll find out more as the season goes along. But I think that's enough for tonight.